Welcome. In front of me I have the Motorola G14 and I will go over unboxing along with a quick look at the device. So, without further ado, let's just pop the box straight open. So here we have our phone. See rich details, full HD plus display, and a 50 megapixel camera with night vision. Oh, I don't think they mean that night vision that I'm thinking of, but I will check it out out of curiosity later on. Anyway, apart from that, we do have a included charger, surprise surprise, and the charger is just a measly 10 watts, so it might come included, but this is what you would consider a pollution. So yeah, might not as well include such a charger. Gonna include a 10 watt, like, just don't. I believe at this point majority of us have like at least a 25 watt charger at home laying around, so we can probably use that, and this actually becomes an e-waste. Now if this was like a 30 watt charger or even 25, at that point you do have a spare if something would happen to your old one, but 10 watts, this is just garbage, and that's about as best I can explain it. Now the charging cable is a type C to type A, which pushes even further into this fact that we most likely have a charger like that at home. Now let's actually boot up the device, which I haven't done. So while it's actually turning on, I'm going to start off with the cameras. So like we already seen, the main one is a 50 megapixel wide sensor, and then we get a shit camera called 2 megapixel macro.
Hello, Moto.
Now the reason it's a shit cam is because the 50 megapixel wide sensor at 2 times zoom will produce significantly higher quality detail and closer images than the macro, which is designed specifically for that reason. And it's being outperformed by whatever's above it. Like, why? Motorola, do you think this looks good just because you have 2 cameras? Like, whoop-de effing do. No one cares if one of the cameras that we get to pay for is absolutely useless. Now at the front we do have a 8 megapixel wide sensor. Now with front and back, your maximum video resolution is 1080p and maximum frame rate is 30. That goes for both front and back. Now that the device is on, we can also touch upon the display, which you can see a little bit better now with the little chin right here. So the bezels are serviceable, I would say, for a device that would cost, for instance, $100. Now, if the price that I'm seeing right here is correct, which is closer to $300, I would say that that is looking very dated. And for the price, it's just absolutely just not worth it. Now, talking about the actual display right here, we are looking at a 6.5 inch display running on a resolution of 1080 by 2400. It is an IPS LCD display with an 85.6% screen to body ratio and pixel density of 400 pixels per inch, roughly. It's also running on Android 13, so that's actually a pretty good thing. And yeah, now let's actually move into the internals, which I'm going to start off with the battery, and that is a 5000 mAh battery that it gets charged with a 10 watt charger, but we do have a 15 watts charging speed on here. So not only did we get the world's shittiest charger in the box, that is more of a waste, it's not even capable of charging this device at its full 15 watt charging speed. Like, what the hell? Come on. This cannot cost that much. So disappointment stacks up here. Now, interestingly enough, this device being sold in India actually comes with a 20 watt wired charging, apparently. I have no way of actually checking this out, so I'll just have to take the little spec sheet on GSM Arena at its word. Anyway, continuing on into the internals, this device is being powered by the Unisec Tegra T616 and comes with 4 GB of RAM and 128 GB of built-in storage, which I presume can be expanded further using an SD card. Let's just check that out. And yes, it can. So you can pop in an SD card and 2 separate SIM cards. So that is actually pretty good for expandability. So that's basically all the worth mentioning info. There's a couple additional things that I can mention, which number one, we do have a headphone jack at the top, as you can see right over here. So you can plug in your wired headset. Then we got a fingerprint sensor that doubles as a power button right over here. So you can add your fingerprint and quickly unlock your device without needing to, put in that annoying PIN, pattern, or password. And at the bottom, there's nothing special, just speaker grills, charging port, microphone, and our tray. And yeah, that's about it. So that being said, apparently this device comes a little bit over $300. I'm not sure how accurate this is. I'm gonna actually quickly check, so bear with me because this will actually have a big difference in an opinion. If this actually costs $300, it is absolutely not worth it, and I will give you a significantly better alternative to this one. So I'm gonna check it on like the Polish version of Amazon. That's where I am from, so should be pretty good. To about 200. It's a little bit over 200 in here, so the price is a little bit inaccurate. So yeah, a little over 200. I would say that it's still a very steep price, though not as egregious as over 300. Now with that being said, I highly recommend checking out one other device if you're looking to buy a relatively cheap device. I will start off by saying it is actually at $300, but because it was released a couple years ago or a year ago or something like that, it might be cheaper, which actually I'm gonna check. So let's see. So we're looking at a price tag of a bit more. Give me a sec. So this device is still holding up strong in terms of a price. It should come at about $350, and it's the Poco F5. So if you're interested, I highly recommend checking it out. Just keep in mind there are two versions. There's the Pro and Not Pro. The one that I'm referring to is the Not Pro. So the reason I'm also recommending it is because it's going to be insanely better than this device. In every single aspect that you can think of, it will outperform this device without a single problem. So just to kind of name a few, we have faster charging, battery is about the same though. We have better storage, more RAM, better display, faster display. So those are just a couple of things to mention. Most importantly, the processor in that device will be miles ahead of what we have right here, being a Snapdragon, I think it was 7 Gen 2. If I remember correctly, let me just also check that out. So yep, so it's Snapdragon 7 Plus Gen 2. So yeah, it is a significantly better device, and it was released at the beginning of this year actually, so 2023. But yeah, I'd recommend checking that device instead of this one if you don't mind spending just a little bit more, but getting a significantly better experience. Now that being said, I like to give people other alternatives, and this one just seems to be my go-to for almost most of the devices, just because it's the dumbest value for the money that it can get, I would argue. And this device is insanely good and costs not that much. And because of that, obviously other devices like this one don't really have much room to compete because of existence of the F5. And I also am a firm believer that spending a little bit more on your device, if you're looking to use your device for next 2 years as an example, I highly recommend just saving up and getting a better device, which will add up to the experience that you will have later on with the device. So that is just kind of where I'm coming from. I wanted to explain that, why I consider saving up to be a more viable option. But with that being said, hopefully you found this very helpful, informative, and if you did, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and thanks for watching.